Hey, I'm Dazzling One, and this week it's going to be more of a word of encouragement. We all need some uplifting and inspiration from time to time rather than focusing on the negative, and this is what this week is about. So this might sound cheesy because I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm going to go for it. So in this day and age of political correctness and sensitivity, it's a hurdle for a Christian and even a truther to overcome in today's day and age of speaking up, standing for what you believe, and letting your voice be heard, because not many people are going to want to hear your voice, in all honesty. I believe in exercising my First Amendment rights, and the freedom of speech is one of them. And since there's a free internet and I have the right to go out in the streets and protest, I can do so. There are many ways you can go about this and take a stand. You can do it by being more behind the scenes. Some people are the hidden hand in other people's work. Some people do it through art, and there's many creative ways people go about doing this, and it's amazing. I can't thank those of you enough who have given me suggestions and video requests, who have in turn helped other people because they've come across a video later and it's helped them understand something and they've benefited from it, because I know I benefit from every video I make. One of the reasons I got into video making was because although there were some awesome channels out there who had some mind-blowing information and these truthers helped me open my eyes, there were things I noticed they were missing or just weren't covering. And although I try to message them and have them put the message out there, in the end Yahweh wanted me to be the one to go out there and do so, and I wasn't too thrilled about it. But I wrestled putting up a video because I'm a pretty reticent person who prefers to stay behind the scenes, and I'm super observant, and I might not seem that way because all you ever hear me do on my videos is talk, but if you were to meet me in person, you would be amazed at how quiet and introverted I am as a person, and you probably would wonder if I ever opened my mouth or had anything to say at all. But by listening to Yahweh and posting my first video, it helped others who were dealing with similar situations to realize they were not alone and also bring some clarity. So I was nervous at first about discussing the paranormal because people react in different ways to talking about the paranormal. They think you're on drugs, that you need to get some mental help, or you're making stuff up for attention, which in this day and age, I would not want to make up a paranormal experience for attention. They might be interested and just want to hear a good ghost story or have a good laugh, or just curious. Others are thankful because someone is covering something they have actually experienced themselves. The point is that you never know what you say may open someone else's eyes, and if you never say it, then you'll never know. Of course, like I said, you gotta use discernment, be mindful of what you're saying and how you go about it. But by doing so, by saying something and standing up, speaking your mind, you might get someone else started on their own path and waking other people up, and you start this beautiful chain reaction. It's our responsibility as Christians to spread the gospel, and it's good to wake people up to the truth. But not everyone is going to be receptive or want to hear it. Be led by the Holy Spirit and pray about it, because Yahweh can show you when the time is right, what to say, and how to go about it. Don't directly attack the person's point of view or perspective. Try by conversing and asking questions. Remember to choose your battles. If they're not getting along with you about it and they're getting upset, then I would just stop and I would pray about it. Don't try to always win an argument, because it's not about winning an argument. If you can just plant a seed, that's better than nothing. It's difficult at times because you may lose friends and feel alone and gain some enemies. One thing that I feel a lot of people don't understand about Yeshua was that he was a revolutionary. He spoke up against the Pharisees, and he was persecuted by the government. In John 15:18-19, if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So many people like to think that as Christians, our job is to be more like the world. It's to try to fit in with them and be relevant to them. And I understand why people think this, because they don't want to lose They don't want to lose respect or things like that from people they know, but in reality, clearly says that Yeshua was hated by the world, and we're followers of him. That's what a Christian is a follower of Christ. So if they hated him, clearly they're not going to like us. There's some people who will see the light in you, and they will hate it, and they will want to crush it. And this is why many Christians that I meet oftentimes have the same story. They've been kicked out of churches, they've been bullied, they've lost friends, they've lost family members. It's sad, but Satan will do everything he can to silence you, to discourage you, to make you feel as though the only way you're going to be accepted is to be more like his kingdom. Because why make it easier for your enemies? Because when you're aligned with Yeshua, you're an enemy of Satan as well. And the thing about it is, many people always talk about this relationship that they have with God, and they talk about it's a relationship. But I just want to put in these terms. If I was married and I was around saying, well, I'm in love with this guy, we're in a relationship, but then I was out cheating on him with all these other guys, well, clearly, I don't respect him as a person, I don't if I don't want to spend time with him, but I want to spend time with all these other men, and I want to post pictures with them all over the internet and all that, then clearly there's no loyalty to him. And as a bride of Christ, we're not supposed to be around 1 minute going with God and the next with the devil. You can only serve one master. You can't be lukewarm. There's no in between. There's no riding the fence. So it's silly that people think they can live that way. So one of the things I want to point out is, in retrospect, bullying really humbled me. I was made fun of on a near day-to-day basis as a child, ostracized, and it taught me not everyone is going to like you. Some people are cruel, and they're not always going to be accepting of who you are, what you have to say, or respect you. So people find any reason to hate on something, especially if it's different. In my case, I didn't behave like my peers. Like I said, I was creative. I was a thinker. I often felt mature for my age in terms of the way I viewed the world. I was reserved, so many people view shy people as being antisocial, stuck up, and all these. They make all these assumptions just simply because you don't open your mouth and talk to them. And of course, I'm mixed race, so I look different than my peers as well. And living in the Midwest there's not a whole lot of diversity, I stood out. So when you put it all together, I realized that people were unsure of how to react or treat me since I was different from them. And some chose to ignore me while others attacked and made fun of me. And then there were the few that were nice and we became friends. But this is what happens with being different. So I feel it's a blessing that I'm different. Yahweh made me this way, and I'm glad that I stand out, and we're all unique. And by being different, it's taught me a lot about who I am. I don't need a group. I don't need someone to back me up. The only acceptance I need is Yahweh's. And it really helped prepare me for this channel. And now I have my own individuality and identity. So when I was bullied, when I tried to stand up for myself, the bullies didn't like it. And they often accused me of being cruel or harsh. They tried to turn it around on me. There was this double standard. Even teachers sometimes stuck up for them, sadly enough. It was fine for them to act in a hostile manner, but not for the victim, apparently. When people threatened to exclude me, it wasn't really a problem because, like I said, I didn't really have friends or anything like that. I was a loner, so it didn't really matter. I didn't want to be part of a group. I'm not a group's person. I feel the reason people are afraid of the unknown or attack what is different is because it's this fear that the minority is speaking out, and it's this fear of individuality. People talk about being yourself, why try to fit in when you're meant to stand out, be unique, all that stuff, yet we hear the opposite message: go with the flow, can't beat them, join them, get with the program, which if you listen to those words, it's basically telling you gotta fit into the hive mind. I remember Rainbow Fish. Some of you guys are older than me and some of you are younger, so this might not be your time, but Rainbow Fish had these beautiful skills. Because Rainbow Fish didn't fit in, he had to give away his skills to other fish, therefore he could fit in. And the sad thing about fitting in is you're fitting into someone else's mold, so it's always this miserable thing. When the trends change, you have to change. You're a chameleon. And it's a miserable lifestyle, no identity. You're like a ghost wandering to and fro without an actual home. Not a very great life to live. And so this hive mind mentality, it crushes true expression, truth, art, and so much more. It makes people fearful that by speaking up and being yourself, you may tarnish your reputation, lose your position, your accolades will mean nothing. So the thing about it is, with, like I said last week, with art, it's really being destroyed. Most people don't know what art is anymore. Expression. People don't know how to express themselves. So as a Christian, I advise you to use discernment and be led by the Spirit and never make it your goal to offend. Remember, God is not a respecter of persons as well, but don't try to go out of your way to just rile people up and make them mad. In Acts 10:34, it says, "Then Peter opened his mouth and said, 'Of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons.'" It's not saying don't treat others with respect, because we are supposed to be mindful of others and treat others the way you'd want to be treated. But don't be a people pleaser. I can say for certain that I'm not one. I don't care if you're rich or you're poor, you're an elitist or a bum, your level of education, your religion, the color, gender, or age. That doesn't make you any better or worse in my eyes. Because actions speak louder than words. You can tell me you're one way, but you can be a different way. You can look nice, but you could be rude. You could look horrible, and you could be nice. Looks are deceiving. I observe people by their fruits. But in this day and age, I also want to point out with judging, because so many Christians use this, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Matthew 7:1-3. "Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye?" So many people misconstrue Yeshua's words, and they say, some people take it as far as say, you have no right to ever judge. Here's the thing, while as a Christian, at the end of the day, it's going to be that individual standing before Yahweh and being judged. I can at least tell them the truth of what will happen if they do not accept him, and I do this in love. And if I see them going out of line, it's my job to try to help them get back in line. And once again, I do this in love. If I see someone walking towards a semi-truck in the middle of the street, I'm going to tell them to move out of the way, even if I have to yell, scream, embarrass them in front of everyone, because I'm trying to get them out of harm's way. Not let them get hit by it and die. That'd be inhumane. And like I said, I'm doing this in love. People might not like to hear what you have to say, but remember, you're not doing this in pride or condemnation. And if I'm going to judge someone else and tell them that they're in sin or they're on the wrong path, then what he's saying is that I need to make sure I've removed all sin from my life and that my house is in order, because how dare I tell them something and then I still have all this in my life as well. So we judge righteously, like it says in John 7:24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So now that the channel's been growing, I've been having more people view my videos, whether new or old. It's amazing because the CERN video I uploaded April 1st on April Fool's Day, of all days, reached 100K views, which is baffling to me. I didn't expect it to grow that large. Because of the attention I've garnered, it's also brought a great deal of hatred, which is fine, but for the past 3 months I've dealt with every kind of insult, from I know nothing about science, I'm trying to attack it, and all of that, when in reality, like I've told you guys a million times, I'm a science major. I am investing money in studying the subject matter, and I'm all for science as long as it's not unethical. I got cussed out, called the B word, probably because I'm a girl speaking, and accused of not doing my own research because I used to write out my videos. I stopped doing that because I wanted to free speak, and I feel like that way you get more of what I'm saying. And also I was called a fearmonger, which, like I said, it's never my intent to scare anyone, but if they don't want to hear the truth, then they can just click out. Being on drugs, which that one just makes me laugh because I've never used a drug a day in my life, and I don't know, it's just funny to me. Or I've been critiqued on the way I present, from my pronunciation of words to enunciation to the tone of my voice that some view as monotone. So sometimes I would have fun with the trolls, and I would troll them back just for the thrill of it. Other times I would just ignore the comments, and sometimes I try to talk it out with them. I was talking to a friend, a fellow YouTuber, and he and I were talking about how sometimes you just don't even want to log into YouTube, like, oh god, I'm going to see like more troll comments. And sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it really wears at you, and you're like, oh, I don't want to make more videos anymore, I'm tired. But at the same time, you just got to get over it. One thing I was told that was really ironic is that I need to keep my opinion to myself and my fantasies in my head, which I thought was ironic because since we have the freedom of speech, it's a free internet, there are millions of videos online. There's no need to pay attention to content that enrages you. That's like the bulimic girl going to Thinspiration and wondering why she's making herself sicker because she's triggering herself with these images of thigh gaps and spinal cords sticking out. But of course, trolls will be trolls. I guess it's fine for seculars to talk about their point of view, but a Christian or truther who doesn't agree with the popular opinion, God forbid they do so because it's offensive, which it's sad that people are so sensitive like that, but too bad. I make it crystal clear what I stand for on this channel in the description, and I'm not going to shut up or stop making videos just because a few people are angry. And even in the video descriptions, I make it obvious what the video is about, so therefore no one can throw a conniption over what I'm saying simply because they don't agree with it. Because I don't like to deceive people, and sometimes I click on a video, the first thing I do before I even watch is, what is this video about? Because titles can be deceiving as well as thumbnails. So what I'm saying to the trolls is go find your videos that support your opinion. I don't waste valuable time trolling forums I don't agree with. I don't allow negativity in my head or heart because at the end of the day, what do you gain from writing hate comments? It's like going to Taco Bell and expecting to get a burger. Clearly, Taco Bell is not going to serve you a burger, so clearly, if you're on a channel that's talking about God, you're not going to hear God hatred. But of course, I feel like the point of it is to just troll, to rile people up and cause situations. And the funny thing is, the number of people saying the opposite of what I'm saying, there's many more of them, and they're heavily praised by the media and institutions in the curriculum. So here on my channel, I'm not going to kill anyone with what I'm saying. Some people might view it as offensive, but like I said, if I lose a views, if I get a thumbs down, if I lose subscribers, if I am the only one talking to myself, then so be it, because I'm here to tell the truth and not to people please. Truth comes with revealing, which means someone is bound to go off on you because it's a revelation. I'm pretty sure if I was making inappropriate jokes, being a pervert, humiliating myself, or talking about the opposite viewpoint, I would probably have a bunch of praise and support, probably would have many more views. But I'm not about, like I said, people pleasing. I'd rather have 0 subs and be telling the truth and have 1 million and I'm deceiving people, and I'm a wolf. So most can attest if you try telling people the truth, because when you first wake up, you're excited. I remember the days when I first woke up in 2011 and I tried to tell people and they didn't want to hear it. It can be pretty discouraging because they get ticked off and angry. And that's when you got to step back a little bit. But the thing is, it takes one person to make a difference. One person who stands up for what they believe in and is passionate and is stronger than a codependent group with no identity. Many people will mock you when you have a voice because they don't have one themselves and they're fearful of what would happen to them. So as a keyboard warrior with some power finally at the tip of their fingers, they go about attacking you. It's kind of like the person who gets up on stage and sings, even if their voice sucks. You know what? That person actually had the guts to get up there and sing. None of you guys are getting up there to sing. I'm just saying that. I respect when someone actually has the guts to get out there and speak their mind or stand up for what they believe, because that's really something that's dying out. Most bullies and abusers attack those within reach because they feel powerless. I've come to the realization most of them run from conflict and choose to take it out their frustrations and anger on those nearest to them, but they view as defenseless and weak, and this is why you should stand up for what you believe in for yourself. When someone tells me that I'm not competent enough to be doing what I am, I always ask them, if that's so, then get out there and do it yourself. Do a better job, but of course, most of these people, I don't get a reply back for them, or I receive more verbal attacks. But the point is, if you see someone's not doing the right job or that they are missing points, then get out there and let your voice be heard. Don't ever let someone make you feel ashamed of who you are or what you believe or put you down or discourage you. Satan uses whomever he wants to silence and discourage you and keep you from speaking up. Bravery is having the guts to stand up even when you're afraid. Same thing goes with heroism. It's situational, having the guts to do the right thing even when everyone else turns a blind eye or is scared. Like I said, I've had my fair share of maltreatment, discouragement throughout my lifetime, but that's the beauty of it. Yahweh uses who he wants. He can raise up a child to rule a kingdom like Josiah. He can use anyone. It says in the last days that your sons and daughters would have dreams, they would prophesy, and we're seeing more young people like children get out there and speak up. It's amazing. So many people have told me that I'm too young and I can't do this because I'm a girl. Like, I've been called 5 years old, which clearly they're exaggerating, but the point is, it doesn't matter my age or any of that kind of stuff, and neither should it for you. Don't ever let it prevent you from taking a stand and letting your voice be heard and being fearless and courageous in this dark, cowardly world. People who don't take a stand are as miserable as they sound. Taking a stand isn't easy. It can be a lonely road, but not an impossible one. And like I always say, it's a blessing that we have an online community that is supportive of one another. I'd like to thank all of you for your continuous positive feedback and encouragement. And also, I'm elated to see you guys giving each other the same boost. Also, remember, the best way to go about spreading the truth is to pray about it, use discernment, but sometimes opportunities present themselves. Like I said, ask questions. A good intellectual discussion goes a long way. But for me, this semester I'm taking a speech class, so it's going to be my final semester at community college, and then I'm going to transfer to university. And I'm not too thrilled about the speech class because usually with public speaking, it usually causes my stomach to ache. I freeze up, breathe too quickly, quiver, all that, since I hate public speaking, which is why it's amazing, like I said, that I talk on here, which has been challenging in the beginning and it's getting easier. It's really improving my communication and verbal skills. But I feel that this speech class will help me grow as a person. Also, I feel that it'll help me tackle social anxiety that has tried to oppress me and is something I intend to conquer. I think back to scripture in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. It gives me an opportunity in the speech class to write out speeches and deliver them about subject matters of my choosing, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity to share the truth since I have the liberty of picking topics. Every time at school I have the chance to write about something that it can shed some light in people's eyes, that's the first thing I do. So what I'm saying here is that sometimes opportunities will present themselves where you can go about sharing the truth in a safe manner, and if you have that opportunity, seize it. But I hope this wasn't too cheesy or repetitive, and that it was inspiring and helped lift someone of you guys' spirits. And I'd like to thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week. Take care, and Yahweh bless you.